Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to have another top 10 countdown. This one will focus on Spelunky, which I love so much. This countdown will focus on Spelunky and some of the unique things that you can do in the game. For those unfamiliar with the game, it is a randomized platformer. In each playthrough, you collect treasure and attempt to work your way down into the bottom of the cave. And with that, we will jump into number 10, using ropes to kill enemies. This is a very unique situation that you may encounter, and it's as simple as it sounds. Deploying a rope at the right time will kill an enemy from above. As you can imagine, the timing does need to be precise. This works best on spiders since they drop straight down, but it is possible to use this technique on bats as well. I wouldn't rely on this method all the time, as your whip is far more effective, but it might help in trying to ascend into a new area. Moving on to number 9, surviving fall damage. This is also a very niche situation, but it basically involves landing on an enemy to counteract the fall damage. If timed properly, you can fall from a great distance and land on an enemy. Doing so will negate the fall damage, allowing you to continue unharmed. As far as I could tell from my testing, there is no limit from the distance that you can fall. Additionally, you can also fall from similar distances and grab a ledge at the bottom. This too will prevent you from taking fall damage, but it's pretty tricky to pull off. Next up, number 8, orange and blue frogs. This is only relevant in the game's second biome, the jungle. Orange frogs can be a bit of a pain to deal with. Once you jump on them, instead of instantly dying, they will activate and eventually explode, similar to your bombs. This can be prevented if there is water nearby. If you react quickly enough, you can throw the orange frog into the water. This will cause the frog to turn blue. Now keep in mind, the frog will still be alive, and being that it's now a blue frog, it will get an extra jump boost from the water. More often than not, it won't be a big deal if the orange frog explodes, but it might just save you from a last second death. And number 7, Tiki Trap Hang Time. Basically, there is a small delay after the Tiki Trap activates that you can be nearby and it will not damage you. You can also hang on the side of the tiki traps to get over them. Just don't hang around too long or they will get you. Another interesting little fact about tiki traps is if you destroy the block directly below the trap, it will destroy the entire trap. Now you can jump close to the tiki traps to set them off, allowing you to get an idea of the timing before making the jump. It's also worth pointing out to take extra caution if you have the green Hulk hand item. It feels like you could get stuck to items a bit longer than you would otherwise want. This can make leaping around tiki traps a bit more difficult. Coming up at number 6, bouncing bombs on the walls. This can be helpful to consider if you need to destroy a section of the cave above you. It's far more effective to simply place your bombs. However, you might find a time when banking them off the walls will open up an area above you. You do have to be careful because if you miss, this could cause additional unwanted damage. You could also throw your bombs down and attempt to hit something specific, but this is ill-advised because you could easily hit a shopkeeper or a golden idol or some other similar trap. Moving on to number 5, avoiding arrow traps. When you see an arrow trap below, it is best to disarm it in some way before proceeding. However, it is possible to time your jumps while ducking to completely avoid being hit. If you were to simply jump, you would almost certainly be hit by the arrow as they move much too fast. But ducking down, you can create just enough space to get under the arrow to avoid taking damage. Take caution when doing this because the loose arrow will bounce and it is very possible the arrow could hit you on the rebound. You can use almost any item to set the trap off first. This should be your first option. Even something such as the mouse can be used. Note that the mouse will not damage or kill anything else in the game. If you are low on supplies or don't have any other loose objects, then duck and hope for the best. Next on the list is spike ledges. At first glance, these ledges seem like instant death, but if you're holding onto the ledge, you can do a half jump, which allows you to get up onto the floor containing the spikes without being damaged. Once on the spike floor, you can freely move around as long as you do not jump with the spikes below you. When you encounter this situation, take your time. Maybe do a few practice jumps to test the height beforehand. Closing in at number 3, bombs and webs. Before getting the glue from either the shop or the giant spider, your bombs can be difficult to place precisely. If the level you're in has webs, you can use them to hold your bombs. This will allow you to destroy areas that would otherwise be out of reach. You can also hold bombs in place below the giant spider for a quick and easy kill. This will only work as long as nothing else has touched the web previously. If you or another object has touched or been caught in the web previously, the bombs will use up the remaining webs and fall to the ground. I should note that you could potentially use the web gun and do the same thing. However, I find it very unreliable. And at number 2, throwing activated bombs. This can be a very dangerous maneuver, but if timed properly, you can open up areas that are beyond your reach. It could also help limit the amount of bombs you use. The easiest way to do this is to duck down, drop your bomb, then pick up the activated bomb and throw it at the specific wall you want to explode. You may need to play around with the timing to get a good feel for when it is the right time to throw. Of everything on this list so far, this is probably one of the most valuable things you can learn. It can be tricky because if you miss or hold the bomb too long, it's game over. And finally, at number 1, whipping arrows. As unlikely as it might sound, it is very possible to whip at the same time to deflect an oncoming arrow. The window is very thin, so don't expect it to work every time. It's worth playing around with, as you might prevent an unwanted death. You pretty much position yourself facing the arrow trap and time your whip where the arrow would likely hit you. I've tried simply spamming the whip button, but it never seems to work too well. My best advice for pulling this off is trying to whip sooner than you think you have to. This will give time for the whipping animation to occur. And that wraps up our list for today. Was there anything helpful, or do you have any additional tips you think I might have missed? Let me know down below in the comments. With that, I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!